So I really want to get into detail in regards to this because I felt like I looked for so many videos when I was searching whether I wanted to add the Kelly or the Birkin first, and nobody really kind of explained it in really good detail. Hi everyone, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. My name is May, and today we have a very long awaited video, and I want this to be more than anything sort of like a guide for you to be able to decide which of these pieces would be best to incorporate in your collection if you are a first time Hermes quota bag purchaser, or if you are just debating between these two sizes in particular, which one may be able to suit your lifestyle a little bit better than the other. So we are going to be talking about the Kelly 25 in the retourne or return style, and the Birkin 25 in the same exact style. I honestly thought that I was a return kind of girl, that for me that was the style to go to for any of these two pieces. However, as I have now owned both, I'm here to tell you that my opinion has definitely changed. For the most part, I am a very simple, very casual sort of dresser. Every now and then I do like to dress up a little bit, and I'm sure that you have noticed the jewelry that I'm wearing. So before we dive into this very long-awaited comparison, I do just want to take a quick minute to thank today's video sponsor, and that is Ideal. I have worked with Ideal previous times before, and I have shared a ton of their pieces with you guys, so I wanted to go over a few new additions to my Ideal jewelry collection, and specifically wanted to get into the fact that they are currently running their Black Friday promotion. So in case you guys wanted to treat yourselves and add a Ideal piece into your fine jewelry collection, or wanted to add an extra addition into your growing Ideal collection, then this is definitely the time. If this is your first time hearing about Ideal, it is basically a fine jewelry company, which I have learned so much more about during the years. I recently watched Mel in Melbourne's video, and she was lucky enough to actually go and visit the actual site where the production for these pieces are being made, and I had no idea that this was actually a family-owned business. Like, you can see the mom, the dad, the daughter, all working together in order to create these beautiful pieces for us, and that just made me appreciate the brand so much more. So Ideal's main focus is to offer you a base, whether that is a simple stud of earrings or a simple necklace, and then giving you additions for you to be able to build within those bases and kind of make them your own, which is what I feel makes this brand so special. I don't think that you will ever see the same person wearing the same Ideal pieces, simply because there are so many additions in which you can interchange and make your own and make them suitable for your specific style. One thing that I do really enjoy about Ideal also, and the pieces that they offer to add into the earring studs, is that they really kind of give you this very curated sort of ear candy that I always share with you guys, but I absolutely love. I just don't want to go through the hassle of having to pierce my ears 3, 4, 5 times. Now, if earrings are not your thing, don't worry. Ideal also offers a very dainty chain in which it has 3 adjustments depending on how you would want to style it, and you also have a different variety of pendants in which you can choose from in order to switch around on this chain. Again, I really want to thank Ideal for continuing to collaborate with me, and you guys also for being here and giving me this opportunity in order to bring awareness to such an amazing brand. As I previously stated, they are running their Black Friday sales now, so their pieces are up to 20% off at the moment, which is a huge saving, especially for a fine jewelry piece with lab-grown diamonds. I think we can all appreciate and agree that having certain fine jewelry pieces in our jewelry collection is always a good idea, simply because there are going to be those events and those occasions in our life where costume jewelry just doesn't cut it. We want to have something a little bit daintier, or we want to have something that makes just the right amount of statement without it being too bold or too loud, and I feel like Ideal pieces are perfect for these types of occasions. I will leave all of my new pieces linked down below in case you want to check them out, as well as Ideal's homepage, so that you can take the time to browse all of their beautiful pieces. Now that I've talked enough about all of my dressed up options that I chose to incorporate today, this blouse is also from Cezanne, so I will leave it linked down below as well. Let's dive into the pieces that I feel are very versatile in my collection, and again, that is the Hermes Birkin 25 and the Hermes Kelly 25. Now, I personally felt for me, the Birkin was always going to be sort of like that casual style of handbag, once more, I dress very casually. I do dress up from time to time if I'm going out on a dinner date. And even with that option of kind of dressing up, I still really feel like the Birkin 25 in my personal style is suitable to incorporate during those night outs also. I know there's a huge sort of controversial theme at the moment that you should not be wearing a Birkin after 4 p.m. Guys, you wear your Birkin at 4 a.m., at 4 p.m., at midnight, whenever it is that you want. And same goes for your Kelly. I don't understand why we need to set these standards as to when and how you can wear your bags. If it makes you happy, if you feel like it goes with your outfit, if that is your particular style, you guys wear it, enjoy it, and be happy. And don't worry about what anybody else has to say. So again, I really did feel like the size 25 Birkin was going to be a bag that no matter what time of the day it was, I knew that I would be able to grab her and incorporate her in whatever it was that I was doing. Would this be a bag that I would take maybe into a more formal sort of event? Example, maybe a wedding or a gala or a formal dinner or something like that. Particularly, I wouldn't. But again, if that's what you want to do, then you go ahead and do it. Now for this video, as I said, I wanted to make it sort of like a beginner's guide to give you as much detail as I possibly can so that it hopefully helps one of you guys make a decision as to which one you feel suits you better. With that being said, I honestly feel like both are great silhouettes to have in your collection. For me, the Birkin 25 has honestly checked off all the boxes that I thought it would and some. It has been such a comfortable handbag for me to use. Again, the retourné style is very casual, very slouchy. This one here is in the Togo leather, so it is a more softer, kind of mushier leather. It's not as soft as Clemence, but it is a leather that really goes perfect with this style of handbag. One thing that I do want to touch up on, and it's going to be completely different on the other side of the spectrum, and that is on the Kelly 25, and it is the top handle. I really want to get into detail in regards to this because I felt like I looked for so many videos when I was searching whether I wanted to add the Kelly or the Birkin first, and nobody really kind of explains it in really good detail. So the top handle of the Birkin 25 is one of the fussiest parts of the handbag because it is pretty small for being a top handle. So a lot of the people feel that this will only be a kind of handheld bag like this. It is not for me. However, that is obviously going to depend on, you know, your width of what your arm looks like, what you plan on wearing the bag with, if it's going to be with blazers, with coats, with chunky knits, if you're just gonna wear tank tops or very basic little thin blouses. So all of that will play a role as to how comfortable the top handle is. But you guys, I have never had any struggle whatsoever getting this bag on my arm. Now, it doesn't go all the way back towards my shoulder. I was gonna say my elbow. No, this is my elbow. Oh God. So I've never had any problem getting the bag into my forearm. Obviously, it's not gonna go all the way back to my elbow. That's for my particular just case. There are people that will have a thinner forearm and they could go ahead and put it all the way back to their elbow. So this is where you kind of have to play around with, you know, what it is that you are going to be wearing or your particular size in order to be carrying this bag. One of the things that I did do initially, and I highly recommend that you guys do as well, if you don't have anybody that's close to you that owns either a Birkin or a Kelly, or if you don't have a boutique that has one out on display, go to a secondhand store, go to Rebag, go to Fashion File if you have one near you, or any other small little secondhand boutique that might offer, and try on the piece. Don't be shy, you guys. You can go in there very confidently, look around and just be like, hi, do you mind if I try that one on? I'm considering maybe adding one to my collection. I would like to see how the top handle fits. I would like to see how the size fits. Try it on, have fun, and let them know. Thank you very much. I'll keep an eye out. If anything, if it interests me, I'll be back, take their information. You can go about it in so many different ways and you do not have to be awkward or shy whatsoever. So that is something that I really recommend, just because it's really going to give you the best idea as to what sort of style works best, or if you have a hesitation on the design, if it is something that is going to work. I will get into it in a minute because we obviously have certain ideas, and until you really have the bag in your hands and get to play with the bag, not everything is going to be as good possibly as you might have imagined it, but we'll get there. So that's what I did with this one, and I tried it on the crook of my arm. She fit perfectly fine. It is a piece that I am carrying with me, and if I need to just throw it on my arm, as you can see, it falls in there perfectly fine. So that has not been something for me that has been like a deal breaker. I know that for a lot of people, they opt going for the 30 just for the simple fact that the top handle gives them a little bit more room to play with, and I get it, but the 30 is a huge difference from the 25 in my opinion, and it's also bigger, so it just gives you room to put more things inside. And even though it is not a heavy bag when it doesn't have anything inside, I do have it fully packed now. I'll share with you guys what fits in this one compared to the Kelly 25 a little later in the video. Once you start putting things in, it is going to become a semi-heavy handbag. Keep in mind one more thing in regards to the top handle. So the main thing that kind of hinders it for being more comfortable, because honestly it could be so comfortable, is the fact that you do have the flap, which goes a little bit higher here, as you can see. So in the front, you don't have that. The front is lower, and then you see if I put my finger through, you can see that the back flap kind of takes up a little bit of that top handle. So that's where people, I feel like, kind of struggles. Now, let's dive into the Kelly 25, and the Kelly 25 is the smallest. We have the mini Kelly, but out of what I like to call functional pieces, the 25 is the smallest. So again, Kelly 25 top handle is so much more giving than the Birkin 25. I mean, just putting them side by side, it's wider and it's definitely taller. This top handle honestly fits your forearm so comfortably. I mean, I could pull it all the way back to my elbow in this case. Obviously, I'm not gonna carry it like this. I'm just sharing with you guys, but completely different aspects in regards to the Birkin. I'm wondering, and maybe if you guys have bigger Kellys, you can let me know if the top handle width sort of changes as those bags get bigger, or if this is a pretty standard kind of top handle room that they give you. Because again, I feel like it's very comfortable, and I feel like it's also very suitable for all the sizes. Okay, let's do a quick kind of little tour of these pieces, and these are both in the same leather, so they are Togo leather. This is what the front looks like. This is what the side looks like. You guys can see that you do have a lot more width on the Birkin 25. The back of the handbags are both plain. They don't have any back pockets. And then I do have my Birkin filled, so let me see how I'm gonna do this. They do have feet at the bottom, which I wouldn't expect any less, but you never know with these brands. But we do have feet. Obviously, one of the main differences from these two is that the Kelly does come with a non-adjustable removable strap. Now, I said I love the retourné. I feel like the retourné is very casual. It goes really well with my style. So when I knew that I wanted to add a Kelly, I just hesitated between the sizes. I didn't know if I wanted a 28 or a 25, but I specifically told my SA I want a retourné because I've had so much fun with my Birkin. I love, let me emphasize, love that the wings pop out on my Birkin. I just feel like it gives it such a cool, casual sort of vibe, and that's exactly what I want from this bag. Like, I want this bag, I don't want it to look like Jane Birkin's bag, but I do want it to look like a casual, I use it, I stuff her, I put all my things inside sort of bag. I specifically told my SA I wanted a retourné. That's what works for me. I love the slouchiness of the leather. It's going to be so good, especially for the Kelly, blah, 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 blah. What did I get? My Kelly 25 in the retourné. I was excited. I was so happy that she got me exactly what I wanted. And then I started using her. If you have been with me for a minute, you know that this is my trouble child, as I love to call her. My Birkin, for me, easily became my favorite handbag in my handbag collection. There is no doubt in regards to the fact that I am a Birkin girl through and through. Let's go back to the Kelly 25. And for me, what I loved about the Kelly, or what I love about the Kelly, is this sort of cinch kind of silhouette that it does towards the top. I feel like it makes this bag so classy. Such a lady bag is what I continue to call her over and over again. And that's what I wanted from this style. For me, I knew that the Kelly was going to lean more towards kind of like the night out options. But then I was like, okay, having the retourné sort of option, it's going to make it look more casual for me to be able to incorporate during the day. And it does. Don't get me wrong. I feel like having a retourné in the size 25 is what gives me the option to be able to kind of just wear this bag more casually. What ultimately has kind of taken me a bit to get used to is the fact that when I do use the bag and put the things that I need to carry on a daily basis, these sides, since it is in the Togo leather and it is in the retourné style, which again is a little bit softer, a little bit more slouchy like, they start coming out. They start coming out like this. And I have a full-on video where I really deep dive into this particular piece because I wanted to hear like from you guys, and you guys were amazing in that video. You gave me so many options and so many things to kind of do differently to avoid that. But it does come out like that. That defeats the purpose. Defeats the purpose for me. Okay, let me just do a little disclaimer. I don't like doing disclaimers because that's not what my channel is about. And I've never done them, but I feel like I just need to address something. I'm not getting rid of this bag. I don't think. As of now, I'm not. Things can definitely change in the future. We can add pieces into our collection and somehow or another we just fall out of love with them. They no longer work, or whatever the reason is, it is what it is. I'm not. But I just want to be honest as to pointing out what the differences are that I feel between both of these bags, specifically for you guys to have a good guide and just to share what I've learned of owning this piece. So for me, this isn't the look that I wanted from my Kelly. So what happens? I have to be more mindful as to what I'm carrying in this bag. And I don't want it to be like that, especially for these pieces. They're very expensive. As I said, with my Birkin, it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. It doesn't matter where I'm going. I know that if I choose to grab her, she's just going to go with my outfit. With the Kelly is a little bit different because now I have to take into consideration that if I overstuff her, over time, these little sides would just start kind of popping out, and this is not the look that I want from a Kelly. That's something that I think that you should take into consideration. I do see a ton of people that honestly have their bags and they carry two things inside of their bags, and I mean, I applaud you because that's not me and I could never do that. I don't even do that when I travel. Like I always say it, but I see people traveling with walks and I'm like, what? How? Please tell me how. I have to carry my life with me on the daily pretty much. So the Birkin just allows me to do that without having to think about it. For the Kelly, I don't. So if you do carry a lot less, I will share with you how it is that I have to downsize in order to take what I have in my Birkin into the Kelly for it to make sense. But I do have to downsize a lot. Right now I'm going through Invisalign. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but it's a couple more things that I need to carry. If I'm using her on the daily, I do like to take sometimes a protein shake with me. And even though it's a pretty small sort of like bottle of a protein shake, I typically can't pick up this bag because again, if I put that inside, it now starts making the bag look a little bit more slouchy and the sides will start opening up. So take that into consideration because I do feel like I didn't bump into a video where anybody mentioned that, and maybe that's just due to the fact that people weren't carrying as many things as I was carrying. And I've realized that that's what I have to do in order to use this bag and make it look the way that I want it to look. But also see it from my point of view where I don't want to have to be so restrictive in regards to a bag and how it is that I use her. So even though I've kind of already worked around the way where I could still bring what it is that I need, I just have to move around my pouches and stuff. Therefore, I'm having a better time at enjoying her, and I'm really looking forward to like adding her whenever I am putting an outfit together. At the beginning, it was a little bit more of a struggle, and I really kind of started doubting myself as to like, crap, did I mess up? Did I make the wrong decision? And that's where I get into the topic of you don't know until you own the piece and start using it for yourself. Because some person may use the bag like this, completely closed, doesn't need to open it because they don't need to get inside. For them, it's going to be just a statement piece in their outfit, and that's perfectly fine. For others, a bag is going to be used as a bag. You're going to carry in here whatever it is that you need to carry. You're going to throw it on your shoulder. You're going to throw it on crossbody. You're going to hold it handheld. You're going to put it on the crook of your arm. You're going to move around with the bag. And then as you start doing that, if the bag is in a softer sort of leather, it kind of starts having a life of its own, if that makes sense. So I felt like that was a rant. I didn't mean for it to be a rant, but I just wanted to make sure I got that point across. Let me get really quick into what fits inside and then what it is that I do in order to switch it over to the Kelly. So my Birkin 25, as I said, fits so much and so much more, honestly, than what I have in here. This is what it looks like at the moment. So I have this wallet has the longest name, and I always get it confused. It's the Kelly Compact something wallet. So this was one of like my first purchases actually. And it's so funny because did they discontinue this piece? I was talking to my sister-in-law in regards to it the other day, and she was like, I no longer want one. It's been way too long. I think she asked for it like 2-3 years ago or something. So let me know if they discontinued this one. But anyways, I'm using this one, little matching moment with my Birkin 25. I have a soft case, and then here's where I put my sunglasses. This is what works best for me because it's easier to move from one bag to the other. I have a hand cream, and I should let you guys know that I also have a organizer in this bag. So I think I got this bag, and literally the day after or something like that, I worked with a company, DGAZ. So I do have gifted organizers from them, but I also have bought with my own money organizers from them because I really love their organizers. But I ended up getting like the perfect little pairing for this one. So this one is from them. So that cream is in one of the pockets that is in the organizer. I have a hand sanitizer. In one of the little pockets, I have a purse hook, which I love. This is a really sturdy, good purse hook. It's from Carrie Atelier. And then I have one pouch, so my toiletry 15, yes. And then I have two pouch, which is my mini pochette, and in here I have my Invisalign things. If I'm going out with my husband, I also carry his Invisalign things, so his toothbrush, his little case, and that's it because I have a floss and toothpaste in mine. But that adds a little bit more. And as I said, sometimes we'll go out and I'll also carry a protein shake in here. I also think it goes without saying, but my iPhone does fit in the Birkin. I just either throw it over top or I'll put it in the back kind of pocket, but everything fits in there perfectly fine. Now, let's go to the trouble child, and that is the Kelly 25. One of the main things that you guys mentioned to me when I, did that video and talked a little bit in regards to this one is try using it without an organizer, because with the organizer, since it kind of just hits right here, that could be what's causing, as you can see, the cinching out sort of starts at that point. And I did, you guys, I did for a minute, and I thought I was liking it, but I really wasn't. I was kind of having like a mini panic attack every time I was using her without an organizer. I don't know why I feel like with an organizer, I just have kind of like the peace of mind that the leather inside is being cared for, and it's not just, things are not just roaming around in there, you know what I mean? So I went back to using an organizer, and this one I actually bought with my own money, but again, it is from DGAZ, and I thought that this color was so nice. It was also like a little bit of a pop. So here's where it gets tricky. So now let's go with the same kind of product, toiletry 15. And you can already see in the organizer, I barely have any space to put anything else. So I'll put my wallet. Most likely, whenever I'm using the Kelly, I'll go ahead and switch out to like a card holder. So that's where, we start making adjustments. So I'll do the card holder. Then I have my sunglasses, which I'll just sneak in the corner there. I won't add another pouch because you can already tell. Like, let me put this inside of the Kelly. As you can see it's already pretty wide. So when I go ahead and put that inside of the Kelly, like the Kelly is going to be more or less like this. If I choose to close it for any reason, which I do, I don't like carrying it open as I see some people carrying it, at least not the Retourne one. Look, you could already see that she's already getting kind of like that little hunch on her side, and as I go more and more with her, like it starts coming out a little bit more and more. So for that reason is why I say that I have to be a little bit more mindful as to what I'm carrying. So in that case, what I most likely do is I end up leaving the 19 behind, and I end up taking the mini pochette. I end up taking out the Invisalign cases from the mini pochette. So I'll put anything that I have on the 15 inside of the mini pochette, and then the Invisalign cases I'll just leave outside in the organizer right here, and then I'll have my husband's next to that. I always really like to take the purse hook because I feel like that purse hook is, again, very, very nice to have. So I'll end up putting that in one of the little pockets, and then I leave behind the cream, and I end up taking the hand sanitizer, which I feel could be used a bit more. So then I'll have the little extra hockey puck, as I like to call him there, which would be my husband. And most of the time, whenever I'm using the Kelly, the phone is in my hand, not only because it will take up more space inside of the organizer, but the process of getting in and out of the bag, as you all probably know, can be a little bit of an issue, which is something else that I feel like the Birkin is just so handy to be able to get in and out of. So this is what she looks like with all those things inside. There are times, depending what I'm doing, I don't close her up and I just carry her like this for a quick minute, you know, go about my whatever it is that I'm doing. But for the most part, I end up just going ahead and closing her up, at least with the flap. And then to make sure that she doesn't have that little winged out effect, I do pull in the sangles so that she ends up getting that kind of look that I really like from the Kelly. And then I just end up carrying her on the crook of my arm. So just a little comparison so you guys can see what it is that they look like. Again, you will be able to see that the Kelly handle drop is just so much more comfortable than the Birkin, just because you do have that extra space. You don't have anything else popping up in the back, which this is like the flap that would close the handbag, taking up space in that matter. So that is very comfortable. There's honestly just some great hits from one and then great hits from the other, and I feel like that goes hand in hand with any handbag, honestly. There is no one bag that is made perfectly, and I talked about that in I think both of the reviews that I did for these bags, because I feel like when we talk about Hermes pieces, there could be no wrong. I get that vibe a lot. Like, you can never point out a flaw in an Hermes bag. Like, people will somehow just overlook it because it's Hermes. And it's not the case, guys. At least I don't believe it is. I'm not saying that they're not well made. That has nothing to do with the practicality of the handbag. I'm just saying that there are certain features on the bag that whether they work for you and don't work for me, it's all a matter of preference. And it is okay to say, hey, you know what? The Kelly just didn't turn out to work the way that I wanted it. And same goes for the Birkin. You know what? I hate that the wings pop out of the Birkin. It's so difficult to cinch it in. I don't like the top handle of the 25. So there's always something that you're going to find that doesn't really check off all the boxes for a handbag style, and that's okay. Whether it's Hermes or whether it's Coach, like, we can talk about it, we could be open about it. Just because Hermes for some people is the end all be all, sort of like in the handbag game, it doesn't mean that their designs are completely flawless and will suit every single person. So I just wanted to point that out because, again, I love my Hermes bags, or my babies as I like to call them, but I am a very realistic mother, and if they have flaws, I definitely point them out. I have ultimately decided, I think I shared this already, but I do want to add a cellier into my collection. Again, I feel like a cellier in the 28 size will give me that option of being able to incorporate her during the day and have the bag look a little bit more casual, a little bit more chill, which is what my style is normally during the day. But it being the cellier, which is a lot more rigid, it will definitely keep its shape a lot better. And I feel like for my dinner dates, which again are nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy out of control, I can also incorporate that size and that style. Before you head off, make sure to check out the description box for all the details in regards to my ideal pieces, and let me know if you already have an ideal piece in your collection and if you've already added a specific add-on to your ideal jewelry collection, what that add-on is, so I can also maybe do a little bit of research myself. So let me know if you own any of these two pieces. What are your thoughts? Let me know if you're considering one, if you're considering both. I love chatting with you guys. If you own both of them in these specific specs, so size 25 and the retourne style, and there's something that I didn't mention or a question that you have or something that you want to share with us, let us know in the comment section down below. I really enjoy having conversations with you guys and kind of just chatting with you, hearing your opinions, being able to share my opinions with you, because I do feel like we are very respectful of one another, and that is what I am so proud of in regards to this little community that I've been able to build here. So I really appreciate you guys for always being here, hanging out with me, listening to me yap your ears off, and interacting with me in the comment section. As always, again, thank you for hanging out, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye everyone.